10 days after Daniel Levy decided to sack the first manager to win a European trophy in 41 years, he has finally sat down to have an interview with the club. Now, Daniel Levy, as everybody knows, does not like to talk in public, and it just leaves us fans so frustrated because he makes all these crazy decisions and no one actually gets to hear as to what's going on. But fair play to him because he's finally decided to sit down and answer a few points. Of course, it was not going to be any difficult questions, but at least he done it. Now, some of the things he said in this interview are absolutely mind-boggling, and I just honestly I don't know what goes through this guy's head because. So we're gonna get into some of the things he says, but honestly, this guy it just baffles me so much, man. He just seems to want to dig himself into a bigger hole. Now, if you guys have not seen the interview already, it's on Tottenham's YouTube channel. He sat down with the new Chief Executive Vinai Venkatesham, and they spoke about a few things regarding last season and about the ongoing season as well. Regarding the departure of Ange, Daniel Levy said, "I'm very grateful to Ange. I don't regret appointing Ange. In the first season, we finished 5th, and in our second season, we were over the moon to win the Europa League trophy. But we need to compete in all competitions, and we felt we needed a change." Now, that's the first thing. Obviously, I understand, yes, we get the bit that he says he's very grateful to Ange. We finished 5th, and we're over the moon to win a European trophy. Yeah, we've all been waiting for that. But the thing about competing on all competitions, I just don't know what he believes in that, because is he really saying that the squad that he had last season, bearing in mind we got rid of the likes of experience, obviously Harry Kane we know went 2 years ago, Eric Dyer was experienced, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg was experienced, Ivan Perisic left the club. Who else left? Hugo Lloris left the club as well. So all the experience that have just walked out the door, and you're replacing him with Dominic Solanke. Yes, scored 19 goals the season before, but still not really proven at the top level. Archie Gray, an 18-year-old that had a season in the Championship with Leeds, and Lucas Bergvall, another 18-year-old that had a season before in the Swedish top division. So he said he wanted to compete in all competitions, but obviously, and Wilson Odegaard, again, once again, another 18-year-old that, yes, had a season in the Premier League, but a season in the Premier League with a Burnley that went straight back down. So talking about competing on all competitions, you didn't really set us up to compete on all competitions last year, and then you're gonna blame the gaffer for that? Like, I don't know. Anyways, more on the interview. It was a collective decision. It wasn't just my decision. We do everything together. Emotional, it was difficult, but we believe we made the right decision for the club. Now, once again, I do not believe Daniel Levy sits and listens to anyone. He might take a few opinions, but let's be honest, the final decision, as has come from every other single manager sacking, has come from Daniel Levy. So once again, he just missed the chance to say, this was my decision. I thought, just own it for once. Like, why has he always got to hide behind things when we all know that it was, obviously, he was the main driver of it, because a lot of talk, and then we know he's a lot of driver around the new managers as well when he goes and talks to the new managers. So once again, he's just, I don't know who he thinks he's fooling, to be honest, because we see right through it. Like, I'm not coming on here to just hammer Daniel Levy, but why do you say certain things when you know it's just going to be a kickback on himself? Well, honestly, I don't know. In the interview, they spoke about their love of red wine together, so maybe they were just boozed up or something, and they thought it was a good idea, because a lot of these things he said are going to come back to bite him, and I have no doubt that the fans are going to use these words against him, which we should, because if you're going to say these words, you're going to have to make the actions to prove it, and it's just not right, man. Speaking about the fresh change as well for the new manager, obviously spoke about Thomas Frank coming in, spoke about how much of he is a good person. Apparently they had a 10-person shortlist, blah, 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 and ended up on Thomas Frank. Whenever you have a new coach, it's always a fresh start. they always have different ideas, but we want to build on the success of winning a trophy last season. Now, once again, Daniel Levy, if you're saying we want to build on the success of last season, that means keeping your best players and signing new top players. So once again, this transfer window is going to be absolutely key for him, because as we know, Christian Romero is obviously he's been throwing his toys out the pram all season, really. Let's be honest. Said a few questionable things, but some of the things he said are not wrong at all. Obviously, questioned the club wanting to push on, saying we don't sort of do the things that the top clubs do, which is very, very right. But if we see Christian Romero leave this summer, then that's not building on the success of winning a trophy last season, because I have no doubt he's not going to replace him with anyone better. So that's going to be the first indication. So if Christian Romero goes, you've already gone back on your word saying that we want to build on the success. In terms of signing players as well, we've seen the links. All the guys are just young players that we're looking to sign once again. Yes, I know it looks like we're trying to get Bryan Mbeumo, but it looks like he's going to Man United because of the wages. So once again, we're not even going to try and compete with a team that finished 16th on wages, but we want to try and build on their success. But we've already seen the team that we've lost to gone and signed Matheus Cunha, pushing hard to sign Bryan Mbeumo as well, with higher wages that Tottenham are going to pay. And we see them talking about strikers like Gyökeres, Ikatike. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really talk about building on success when you're seeing other clubs build on what were failures of seasons already, and we're just sat on our hands. Yes, I know we've made the Matthias Tell deal permanent, but let's be honest, we were already expecting him to come here anyway, so that's not really business that we're looking at as new business. That was a deal from last year in my eyes. But finally, the tip of the iceberg, what Daniel Levy ended this interview with, is probably the most baffling thing he said in the whole interview. Like, I know obviously I've shot down everything he said, but this part here is the absolute heads gone moment. And this is the one thing that not the one line, but Daniel Levy is going to be held to this line for the rest of his tenure at Tottenham Hotspur if this does not come true. And Daniel Levy said, we've won a European trophy, but it's not enough. It's what we haven't done that's more important. You need to win the league. We want to win the Premier League. We want to win the Champions League. We want to win. What? Like, yes, of course, they're the right things to say. Yes, we want to win the league. We want to win the Champions League. But what? I want to be a billionaire tomorrow. It's not going to happen, mate. Like, what? What is he talking about? Come on, let's be honest. Once again, as I said, you look at the signings from last season. We brought in 3 18-year-olds and Dom Solanke. That doesn't show it. Then obviously in January, we bring in 2 more teenagers, or Kinski might be 20, whatever, but he's still young. I think he's a teenager anyway. 2 more teenagers, and then Kevin Danso. Yes, decent signings, but once again, look at, you're saying you want to win the Premier League. You're seeing teams like City. Who do they sign? Marmoush. They sign Gonzalez. They sign... Do you know what I mean? Look at the money they're throwing. And yes, I'm not saying we're Man City, but Man City also want to win the league. And they show by their business that they want to win the league. Look at what they've done in that 2-week window that we had, when the shorter transfer window. Cherky, Reinders, Ike Norwich. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at the quality of players that they're bringing in. And that was off the back of one of the worst seasons they've had under Pep Guardiola. So if you're looking at both, which team wants to win the league? Because Tottenham, that are just here doing nothing, obviously making a deal permanent that was going to be permanent anyway, or Man City, that are pushing everything. We see Liverpool, current holders of the Premier League, 116 million on Florian Wirtz. They're talking about Kirkes. They're talking about even potentially bringing Alexander Isak. And like, what? And we're here saying we want to win the league. We want the Champions League thing. Forget that. I'm not even going to get into that bit, because you've got to be the most deluded of deluded Tottenham fans to even genuinely believe that we're going to go and win the Champions League next season. Like, yes, Bilbao was the best time I've had as a Tottenham fan in my whole life, and I would love to have a night like that, but me being like, let's be real, we are not going to win the Champions League. And if we do, I'll come back and hold my hands up, yes, but I guarantee we are not winning the Champions League next season, or in the next 5 seasons, to say it. And for Daniel Levy to come out and say certain things like that, it's just like you're not fooling anyone. Like, yes, you can say that, but actions speak louder than words anyway. And I have no doubt that Thomas Frank's going to be brought in a load of young players that he's going to need to develop. Obviously, yes, I know they're trying to do the Brian and Mbeumo deal, but as I'm saying, we're not going to play the wages anyway. So really and truly, he's probably not going to come to Spurs. And then we're just going to end up with youngsters or untried players. It's just honestly, you guys let me know what you think about these comments as well. Like, am I being too harsh on Levy? Is he finally going to change? Like, do you guys see us winning the Premier League or the Champions League? Honestly, I just don't know what. Honestly, I don't know, guys. Help me out, man, because I really do not understand what this guy is saying. And yeah, what are your guys' aspirations for next season? Like, what is a good season? Because let's be honest, we're not winning it, but is it top 6, top 7? Like, really? Does it? We want to win another trophy? Obviously, we've got 4 competitions to compete on. 5 technically, if you're including the Super Cup. Not really a competition, just a one-off game, but you know what I mean. So let me know what you guys think about for the next season. Daniel Levy's comments. And are we really gonna compete with these top clubs? I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, guys, stay locked in. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back for more. Peace and love.